Target exclusivity deals don't just fall out of the sky. I know we're coming right up here on the end of our time, but we got to talk a little bit about this.
Yeah.
How do you have a marketing team with you, or is it Tina Wells out in front? You're personally calling up Target to make this happen. How does that come about?
I was really fortunate to get to the right person and have a conversation, and still in that initial conversation, I was really thoughtful about how I was going to re-engage with the opportunity. And I also wanted to be really thoughtful, like, was I in a position, because when I had done Mackenzie Blue, I almost treated it like a client of the agency and then went back to agency work. And I always felt, I don't ever have regrets in life, but I will say at that time, I thought, I wish I'd given more time and energy to this thing, because I loved, writing for middle grade readers so much and just creating these concepts. And so the opportunity presented itself, and I said, here's what I want to do. Here's my perspective. I do come from a background in marketing. Here's what I think is missing. Middle grade fiction, we've got less than 10% of protagonists who are children of color. Well, what can we do to fix that? I think everybody wants to really think about that. And I think it's important to know that, we were engaging on this topic a few years ago, so it wasn't when it became, popular to have this conversation. We really started having this conversation over 2 years ago. And we're really thoughtful about how to bring it to life. And what I will say, I think we talked about this in the beginning, is sometimes you have ideas or visions and it just doesn't resonate with a traditional style of doing things. And I think that how the Zee Files came to life was really solution-based, because doors were kind of being closed, where it's like, well, you can't do that. We can't do that. That's not going to work. We need it out faster, and we got down to who can deliver what we need the way we need it. And that's how we ended up in the type of deal we did. And, still working through what's the best way to do it. Do we need a long exclusivity period? Do we need a shorter exclusivity period? What does that look like? But, I'm very grateful to Target for the shelf space, for, being in the weekly ad. I just opened this week's ad, and there's Honest June on page 2, that's seen by over 40 million people. And so, that amount of presence for me, for my name, in Zee, the Zee Files launched, we had the back cover of that week's circular. And so it's just been a really great partnership. But to go in stores, Mackenzie Blue couldn't get into Target. It wasn't big enough. And we were selling crazy, like crazy, and still couldn't get there. And so to see, I have 5 books in stores right now across 2 different series and a product as well, is just awesome. But they're very committed to, both the idea of creating diversity in middle grade and creating, I think, diversity among their small business partnerships. You see a lot and you hear a lot from what they're doing, but as a person who's on the other side, I have 12 books that will be at Target in some way and some sort of exclusive from now over the next 2 years. And so it's just been a really great partnership for me, but really grateful for the brand building, I think, around my name, and, around a few different projects.
And then once that tremendous TV news that you're sitting on that you can't tell me that happens, it's gonna be Tina Wells' world, and the rest of us are just living in it.
Let's hope. That's a 2022 goal. Let's hope.
Let's team